benefit cheats, fraudsters, and other criminals are intent this very morning, after their holiday, intent on finding refuge in this building. These criminals, benefit cheats, fraudsters, appear to think that they are entitled to govern us. The government of the dead thinks differently. We have arrived here this morning to make citizens' arrests of these criminals. All of them, all of the criminals, all of the fraudsters, all of the benefit cheats who seem to be intent on finding refuge in this building are now subject to arrest. We will be inviting the police to identify said criminals. Here's a policeman. Will you please, sir, identify the fraudsters, benefit cheats and other criminals intent on entering this building? Please help us arrest them before they can find refuge in this building. We have brought along some handcuffs. Expenses, of course, will be claimed. Rather modest expenses in our case. Modest expenses. It's now 9 o'clock. Okay, Souls, agents of the government of the dead, is now trying to proceed to the entrance to arrest these fraudsters.
You mean the fraudsters?
Let us move.
Coming by car?
To be imprisoned. I will stop speaking when I finish my statement. Your job, sirs, is to enforce the law, not to have one law for the rich, one law for the politicians, and another law for everybody else. It is a crime. You will be colluding in crime if you do not enforce the law. One law for all. One law for all. Even though those politicians may be paying you, even though they may be your paymasters, you still have a duty to enforce the law. We are law-abiding citizens. It's perfectly legal to conduct a citizen's arrest. We know that they're criminals because they've admitted their guilt. They're trying to give back the money. If they're repaying the money, that's themselves a confession of their guilt. Arrest them. Citizens arrest. You Labour politicians are above the law. No one is above the law. Everyone should be subject to the same law. There should not be one law for the rich and another for the poor. There should not be one law for politicians and another law for the rest of us. Enforce the law. One law, the same law for everybody. This is an announcement from the government of the dead. We have arrived here this beautiful Monday morning, 1st of June, the day the MPs arrived back from their overlong holiday. We've arrived here to make citizens' arrests of the several hundred fraudsters and criminals who seem to think that they're entitled to find refuge in this building, who seem to think there's a special law for themselves. I understand the police here aren't even allowed inside that building. You're not even allowed inside that building. They make up their own rules. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace that you're not arresting them. They're criminals. You know who they are. They've admitted their guilt. They've admitted their guilt by paying back the money. All the mortgage benefits that have been claimed, mortgage allowances claimed on mortgages long since paid off. All the second homes flipped from being first homes, then second homes, then first homes, to escape paying tax, to get benefit they don't deserve. All that money, they've been paying it back. By paying it back, they've admitted their guilt. Since they know they're guilty and we know they're guilty, and since you police folk can identify them, please arrest them. We understand the difficulty. We understand that these politicians are your paymasters. It may be difficult for you to arrest your own paymasters. That's why we've come along with our handcuffs to make citizens' arrests. Citizens' arrests are a part of the law of this land. We are entitled to make citizens' arrests. That's why we brought handcuffs along to arrest these criminals, these fraudsters who seem to think they're entitled to be part of the government. Instead of being in that building, they should be housed at Her Majesty's pleasure. We can suggest a few residences. What about Wormwood Scrubs for these politicians, these criminals, these benefit cheats? What about Parkhurst?
Broadmoor!
What about Broadmoor? What about Holloway? Here we are.
Belmarsh!
That's the good news. We now have some policemen turning up. That's excellent. We're expecting you to enforce the law, to arrest these fraudsters, benefit cheats, criminals. Please, as they arrive at this building after their overlong holiday, will you please help us arrest them? You know they're criminals. We all know they're criminals. They've admitted their guilt. Enforce the law. One law for everybody, please. We can't have a country where there's one law for the rich and another for the poor. We can't have a country where there's one law for politicians and another law for everybody else. Either you're enforcing the law or there isn't any law. It's total chaos. They make up their own rules. Please, officers, do your duty. I know it's difficult. I know they're your paymasters. I know you may be a bit embarrassed, but we can do the job for you. We brought handcuffs along. We'll arrest them for you. Citizens arrest. When we hand them over to you, we expect you to take them to the nearest police station, lock them up, and let's hope the next stop is Holloway, Parkhurst, or some other appropriate residence. They won't need their two homes once they're in a proper home, looked after at Her Majesty's pleasure in Parkhurst, Holloway, whatever, which other prison you think appropriate.